it's all
Yeah.
it's all yeah. I mean, in my mind, I'm just like it's all
Yeah, and
Yeah.
all crazy.
there's not enough being done in enough places to free this up. Because it's a clown show right now, freezing a lot of businesses that nobody wants to make a move in this environment too. So we'll see.
No, it's just I think people are willing to make the move, but it has to be in the right. Like no one's gonna make $1 trillion bet unless the $1 trillion bet is in your favor, right? Like if you were gonna bet $1 trillion, do you want it to be a coin flip or like right?
No,
Like no
you want
one
as
in the
close to a sure thing as possible, and sure things right now are in short supply.
yeah. That's what I'm. That's where I can understand that. I'm like okay, like we're not gonna have a breakout like 30%, you know, past couple of years because you know
Yeah, and
because
we all want it.
we don't have a market that's very predictable right now. So I
No,
mean,
and of course we all want it. I mean, come on now. But here we are.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
nobody. I mean, yeah. If I was like to be like, oh yeah, like is it easy to do business now in California? Fuck no. All right, fuck no.
In certain sectors, but across the board, not even close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, that's just my general opinion. You know, like
We'll see how
At
it
the end of
goes,
the
man.
day, like much smarter people than I are still guessing.
no,
Yeah.
So,
I
I
honestly
just roll
think
with
though
it.
that certain things are going to come down. Right, Dallas is already like AI, like semi trucks and stuff like that. Amazon's already using robots for in conjunction with you know their delivery. So I think delivery cost is going to go down.
But
That's
where's
my
that?
prediction.
I'm just curious of the tipping point because of the amount of well-paying jobs that are just done or will be
I'm just letting
completely
you know
outsized in
the
the
GDP
process.
of the economy has to be like 15 or 20% by the time. Like that's how crazy, like right, because our economy has to be rolling that much where the robots are doing so much that it's out eliminating people's jobs. At that point, if you're in the stock market, you got assets, you got other things, you know, you're enjoying the ride. If you're not on that, you're probably yeah. It's it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel you. Hmm.
All
That's
right.
my
See,
thought process.
it's about what, 8:35? Yeah, we could start. Some people in here, you know. All right. Share my screen. There you go. All right, y'all. See my screen?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. All right. Thanks for coming. Thanks to Manuel there. He asked these two questions to me. So, how did I scale up from 18 to 52K a month, um, in a month, and then how do I manage that cash flow? You know, in order to do so, right? So we thought, well, hell, let's do a community call and answer those two questions. Um, I, look at Amazon as a business in general. I think the two bottlenecks is sourcing, and also once you get over that or you become more efficient at that, the second problem becomes the money. Where are you gonna get that money to buy those inventory that you need? So we're gonna attempt to dissect those two factor. Okay. Um, so for those of you who don't know me, I'll give you a quick background. I started in Amazon about in October. I started with a couple good ASIN under my belt, 3 ASIN. We took it all the way 4.5 months. That's all I sold, but we sold $400,000 in 4 months. After that, it got IP, so I was back to square one. So rebuilding $10 to $18,000 for the month 5, 6. And then I start networking and really building the business up. And so that's how I got up to 52 last month. Okay. Now, I think I created Miles for a lot of that. He got a good thing going here, teaching everybody that we're in the class together. But I also, for me, I draw from my experience from other businesses, my schooling, my other job. I think it plays a big role in the success that I have. It's just, um, a little bit of background, right? So of course, I went to college, have got an MBA on that. And what it taught me was Business 101, which is this yellow box right here. Middle box. So I've always been an entrepreneur. My first job was selling parking spots, for a concert goer in Denton, Texas. It was like $100,000 type kind of business, really small. But from then I, ran my own restaurant, worked for a corporation. I ended up working for a $100 million corporation, doing sales and slot machines and all that stuff. So yeah, and that really taught me how to really run a business, you know. And for this purposes, I was a loan officer for 5 years too. So that taught me how to deal with personal credit and the credit world. Okay. I think all these things help contribute to my Amazon business. So my attempt tonight is to try to relay some of these information that I gathered throughout the years learning and hope it's helpful in your business. Okay. So business 101, right? This is simple. Any business is revenue minus cost of good minus expense, and you get NOI. Okay. The reason I have 3 boxes here is that $1,000 a year business uses the same formula. It's the same formula as a $100 million business I was running. Okay. So your Amazon is a business and it should be looked at the same way as a lemonade stand or $100 million company, you know. Um, the thing I want to take away and let you all know is that no matter the size of the company, we have the same issue. Okay, there's always the same issue. When it's running a small company, we have to find a product to sell and get to sell. There's always going to be cash flow problem. You have to find capital investment dollar. And there's expenses that leaks in the business that you can't control, but you need to get it under control. Okay. The main takeaway is, let's go back. The main takeaway is, guys, look at your Amazon business as the same thing as a $100 million business. It's the same thing. It's just the difference is a few zero behind what you're doing, a few zero behind the sales, a few zero behind the inventory that you're buying, and a few more zero in expense. At the end of the day, we have the same problem. When I was running the $100 million company, our Amex bill was $1 million a month, and were we struggling to pay that? Sure, some month, the same thing, versus a small company, our Amex bill was $10,000 a month, and we still had the same problem. So it's still the same problem regardless. Okay. So, as far as I can see, if we break down the Amazon business, the life cycle, I broke it down to 5. Okay. So, we all start here, right? Learning and setting up phase, sourcing and testing item, making a good sale, scaling. This is what the bulk of this conversation tonight will be. And then this is optimizing, and you either sell or pivot or expand. But I I'm drawn from my experience. First couple months, I was really in the weeds working in the business. Of course, you have to, because you're learning all this. And then when I went to Miami Sales Conference, I did take the week off, and then I had a chance to come out of the working in the business and start working on the business, which is, I think, really help. It was really helpful to me. Okay, so just for those who are newer, I put all this stuff in there so you can see what we need to do, where we're going, and what you need to do. This is obviously first steps, right? Setting up the account, deciding, do RA, OA, whatever. Second phase, learning to keep and making for sale. Um, but this is, I think, the biggest issue in the room here. And some of these reasons are what I believe helped me to grow my business. Number one, the increased inventory flow. So I did that by networking, add new brand category every day. I looked at system like web scraping with Tony, VAs. So anything I can get my hand on to increase the sale, right? Second thing was I move on to a better product, you know, um, find better product, better ROI, more velocity. The product has more velocity, and product that aren't, easy to find. Um, so that helps increase the sales sum too. The third issue is reinvesting the profit and the cash flow management part of it. Okay. Um, I identified that if I want to grow, I need to buy deeper and more frequently. And by using business credit card or any source of revenue capital that you have, that's what's gonna grow your business. For me, it was business credit card. Um, I have an example here. So, Miles, a lot of you are selling Fujifilm, and I am too. So, um, Miles had gave me those ASIN. I looked at it, I saw it was moving. The thing is, he gave it to everybody else too. A lot of people had it. You know, the question is, once that's given to you, what can you do with it? That determines what your sales will be. So, um, when he gave it to me, I was ready on the capital side because I wasn't really good at sourcing. So he gave it to me, so I ran with it. We were doing 750 units a week. My question is your business are you prepare to do that kind of volume if it was given to you? You know, because we're talking $10,000-$15,000 worth of inventory. You Also, another thing that really helped was I did a lot more replan this time around. So we were doing replan. We had to order small order, so we're doing twice a day, order twice a day, 5 days a week. You know, to so that's another strategy that I implemented, and it contributed to the sales. Um, so on the capital part, right? We use a credit card, and I put some links in here with Tony. Thanks to him, he explained how to do the statement, to move the statement date, closing date, to be like 55 days. So you could have free money for 55 days. That's a good strategy. I personally use 0% business card strategy straight away, and I'll tell you how I use that. Okay. A couple more things that that helped me grow was hiring help. Your sales goes up, you can't be a one-man show. You know, you bring in VAs, you bring in help, you bring in mom and dad to, whatever, to help hat. I did it, you know. So you outsource it to prep center. Um, Also, I started looking at my metrics, the profit and loss, the ROI, the returns, and the gift card that I bought, that I have no idea I bought it, because I didn't have the system there. Catch it. Um, and then just overall efficiency, like bundling products together, and then automating the repricer. I went to 400,000 sales and I didn't have a repricer, So it's like, don't do what I did. Okay. Get a repricer and tools and get everything in place before you have to use it. Okay. So not gonna go over this too much, but really after this, life cycle is, optimizing. That's where the SOP comes in, or using inventory labs, on the board, all that. You have to implement that. You build your system out, and then really, the fifth step is sell the thing, move to wholesale model, a private label, whatever you want to do with the store. But I put this in here just so we see where we are. Some of you are newer. Of course, you're gonna be in step one, two, whatever. Some of you guys are older, that been around for a while. Y'all in 4 or 5, you know. But me personally, I'm in 3. So that's what my focus is gonna be on. So this is a little formula that I use to calculate um, what's needed in cash. So on this column, it's basically how much do you want to sell a month? What is your target monthly sale? A lot of people say 10,000. A lot of people say 100,000. But saying that, you have to have the cash to back it up, or the credit, or the line of credit. And the formula I'm using is basically whatever your sales is that you want per month, multiply that by 50% or 60%. That's going to be your inventory. Uh, Ian, he tracks a lot better the inventory, or the cost of inventory, a lot better than I am. He's saying it's around 60%. I'm using 50%, so it's just easier to, to do the math in your head. So, and then you have to multiply the inventory, that first value, by 2.5 or 3. And the reason for that is, if you have $2,500 the first day out, you bought everything, send it into FBA, and it takes 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever, to check in. My question to you is, you can't buy anything. If what are you going to buy from there for the next 4 weeks if you didn't have the second set of money, right? And then when you do get sale, Amazon Keep Reserve, they take forever to get you your money, 2 weeks or whatever, even if you had the 1 day thing. So there's going to be that lag right there too. So that's why I put this chart together to give you an idea how much money it takes to run a $100,000 a month business. You need roughly 125, 130,000, 140,000, somewhere around there. And yeah, because the turn time on your money is 60 to 90 days, from when you first got the inventory, if you do the FBA, ABM, whatever, until that money hits your account back again so you can pay for it, it's 60, 90 days. That's what you gotta budget for, I think. So this is the number we're talking about, right? So let's explore how we could come up with that number. So some of you might have the cash. Pro to that, great, easy, go buy it. The con is it's still money. If you put that cash in a bank, a CD will pay 4% a year. So it still costs. There's a cost to it, right? Some use a line of credit, good. 5%, 6%, 9%, depending on your credit, your line of credit. And for you that don't have a line of credit and want the line of credit, most of the line of credit takes 2 years of tax return to get. Okay. Credit card statement hack. I think this is a good strategy. A lot of people's doing that. It's 0% because you're using the money, pay it back within the 55 days, and you're good. And you could even implement it on the personal credit card level too. You don't have to have business level to do this. And then oops, the fourth one, which is the one I'm using, it's a business credit card, 0%. I call it a hack because there is no you can get business credit card nowadays with no docs, no documentation, so you don't have to show them your tax return, or you don't have to be in business for 2 years, and you could do it brand new LLC, one day and I say a weekend, right? The pros in that, obviously 0%, 9 to 18 months. It has high limit because it's a business credit. And another pro is it doesn't report to your personal credit, which is good, So let's play scenario out that we all are looking for 100,000 sell. That's roughly the money that you need to have in your businesses to do it. So that's all money. But in the business credit card world, 125 is not much, and it's attainable if you have a couple things right. Okay, and I'm going to tell you how to get that. So yeah, let's go a little bit deeper in the service credit card. You could easily get up to 50 to 250K. No docs, nothing. 6 weeks into a new LLC. Okay. 0%, we went over that. Higher credit line. No docs. Because business credit on the application, you're using the projected income of the business, not your personal income. So right now, everybody's familiar with personal credit card. Your credit line is based on your income. In the business credit card world, your line is based on your projected revenue. And when you're 1 month in, what could your revenue be? It's whatever the hell you think it could be. So it's a free fall to a point. You can't say I run a lemonade stand and my revenue is going to be $1 million. Can't do that, right? It has to be comfortable. business credit card does not report to personal credit except these three, and there might be more, I'm not sure, because I don't have it, because Capital One, TD Bank, and Discover, I think. Another benefit is you could max out business credit line, credit card. If your credit card's 30,000, max it out. Doesn't matter. But if you're using personal credit card, you don't go over 30% utilization, because if you do, your credit start dropping. You know, really your credit start dropping after 10%, but 30 is you get a ding. So how do we get this? These are 3 steps. You have to have excellent personal credit. You have to set up the LLC correctly, and then you have to apply to the right bank and funding sequence. Okay. So this is the most important one, personal credit. In order for you to get a good business credit, you have to have good personal credit. 680, 700 is really what you need. But more than that, the more the better. Okay. These are the list of things that I'm going to tell you what is ideal. I know not everybody's going to have it, but I'm going to give you some solution to alleviate that problem. They want 5 years of age on your credit. They want a utilization really 5 or 10%. 0 is not good either. So like do 5%, 10%, no more than 10%. But 30 is really the max, right? No negative marks, low hard inquiry. They want 10 to 30,000 limit per card on your personal side. They want 5 primary cards. Then they want a good credit mix. Okay. Put this pie chart in here. Some of you probably know this, but you see payment history is 35%. Amount you own is 30%, which is utilization. Type of business, mortgage. You have to have something else besides the credit card. Okay, so I put some here like, what do you do if you don't have this? You come to me and you can't create, I can't have this, or I don't have it. I screwed up my credit when I was younger. Okay. First of all, credit repair is really good nowadays. It go a long way. Your high utilization. You could move some of your personal credit to the business credit and it doesn't show up. Okay. If you have less than 5 years file or a small limit per card, you could do what's called a authorized user hack. So that's where you're new or you're younger. You might ask your parents or a relative that's older, has good credit, bet a good card with high limit, age 10 years, and ask them to add you as authorized user. And within 90 days, you inherit that history and that good credit, just like almost like it was yours. You'll see your credit go up from 650 to 700 real quick just by doing that. And then if you don't have family or anybody could do that, there's even trade line services that you could buy from the internet. You put your name on people's credit card and they charge only $200-300 to do so. Okay. The credit mix, there's a lot of car loans. If you don't use that, use a pledge loan. You go to the bank and say, hey, here's $1,000 CD, loan against it, and then they're gonna put that in your credit. So that will make your credit mix go up. Okay. Okay, step 2. Let's assume that we have all the credit squared away. Step 2 is setting up the LLC correctly. This is the same LLC that you use to run your business, right? But it's a couple pointer we want to point out to make your LLC the bank likes. Okay, so choosing the right business name. Don't put bank, insurance, investment, or any high risk in your LLC name, right? Bank doesn't like it because they are taking a risk. Getting the IN and use a low risk NAICS code. I put 3 of them here for you already. So this one is actually Amazon selling, but it's an old code. But these 2 will work. When you're setting up your LLC, get a true business address, not a PO box, and don't use your house. Because doing all this, we need the bank to believe that you're a legit business. We all know most of us work from a home, but still, you need to represent that you are legit, which is get a dedicated business phone line, and you want to list both of these things on the 411 website. It's free. List your company, list your address, list your phone number, business phone number. Also, you need to create a business email. Don't use Gmail, Yahoo when you're applying to these things. And if you can, have a simple website, because they'll ask for that. Okay. These aren't necessary, but it doesn't hurt. So register with Dun & Bradstreet. That's a free service. Do it. Get a couple Net30 account vendor. Uline, Granger, Quilt. Do it. It doesn't hurt. It's only going to help you. But you don't have to do these 2 steps. Okay. So now it's the third and the fun part. Apply for these. So what all these cards I give you, these banks I'm giving you, Chase, Bank of America, all these 10, all of these are 0%. And they're all 0% business card. And that does not require documentation. Okay. Because most of us starting out, we don't have the financial to back it up. If we did, we probably won't really need this hack per se, right? So the bank I recommend for everybody to go first is Chase. And the reason for that is they're a good bank to work with. Second, they're really inquiry and sensitive, and the number of cards sensitive. So they go first, and then Bank of America, and then US Bank. And then I would do American Express, and then come back to Truett and PNC and all these smaller banks. Okay. All of these banks will require a what's called a business relationship. Okay, which means that you have to open a business account with them. It's better for you to do it. That's where you're gonna get a bigger line, bigger credit. That's what we're shooting for, right? So when you work on Bank of Chase, open an account there. And then if you're gonna work on Bank of America, open an account there too. Okay. So, like I said, we're gonna first start with Chase, and this is what I was talking about, the relationship base. You really need, ideally, 3 months. When you go open a Chase account, business account, if you have good credit, that will pop up a pre-approval for business credit. My advice to you, if you want good, big credit line, a bigger credit line, don't accept it yet. Wait 3 months and then put some money in there. This is what I put this table here because this is a bank rating. So they'll look at your checking account and you want to be right here, 4 or 5. So look, you could be 4 step up by just depositing more $1,100 or $1,000 a month, you know? So, but so be somewhere right here if you can, right? When you apply for the credit card, especially Chase, you don't want to apply through their bank, through their website. You want to apply through the what's called business relationship manager, and they're not the regular banker that you open your account with. They're above them, so you have to do a little research, ask the banker to open an account, ask them you could talk to them, and get them to apply for you. Because then it's become 25,000 limit, 50,000 limit, 75, 100,000. They could ask for it. And they do the application for you. They submit it. They talk directly to an underwriter. Okay. And they'll fight for you. On the application, put that you employ, not you're self-employed. Nah, because it looks more risky to the bank. Be optimistic on your projected revenue, monthly spend. I would say projected to be 100,000 a month, 1.2 million a year. I mean, that's where everybody wants to go. So I don't foresee why projected that far out is unrealistic. Picked up on this somewhere else. I'm not sure it's true or not. But they said more employees better. So put 2 or 3, include your family member as an employee. It's fine. You're not lying, but do it. And a couple things to keep in mind. Chase has a 524 rule and a 230 230 rule. The 524 is basically that you cannot open a personal account or any account with another bank more than 5 times in the past 24 months. So your business account does not count toward your 524, but you have to have a 424 at the most to apply for the business credit card. You can be at 424, and when you apply for the business credit card and you get it, that number doesn't go to 524. It stays at 424 because it's a business credit. But you can't. But of course, there's ways around it. If you're a private banker or you get a good relationship going with the business relationship banker, they could get around that for you. 230 is basically you can't be approved for more than 2 credit cards, Chase credit card in 30 days. Okay. And also Chase allow limit allocation. So if you got a proof of card, the business card for 50K or 20K, and then you get a proof of another one, you could transfer all the credit line from the first one to the second one. You transfer most, except 3,000, I think. So that's a good to know thing because Chase has 20% credit card. So my advice is get one, use it for 11 months to 12 months. When it's fixing to the 0% start over, to be over, get the second one and transfer all the lines from the first one to the second one. Right? So here's some tips. When you apply for these credit cards, you want to learn like where the credit company are pulling, which bureau they're pulling your credit from. Chase, they are usually pull from Experian. US Bank usually pull from TransUnion. So you don't want to load up on Experience. You don't want to do Chase and another one all on Experience. You have 3 hard pull when you have 0 in TransUnion and 0 in Equifax. So you want to spread them out, right? Another thing I do personally is that there's a lot of credit cards, right? So what I do is I'll apply for this one this year. Next year I'll apply for this and that. And the year following I'll apply for this and that. So I could have pretty much 0% for a very long time. And I did this for my real estate business. So, you know, we have we have down payment, we have fixing costs. That's what we use to float. And that's why I got into the credit card game, you know. So a lot of people said, you know, who asked if this sounds too good to be true. You know, like how the hell am I gonna get 200,000 on business when my personal is not even close, right? Um, I'm in real estate, heavily in real estate, so my income has my tax return has a lot of deduction to the tune of I go negative on my tax return. You know, the person I work with said, "Well, more makes more than me because they make $10,000 a year or whatever. I make negative." So that's why I have to use this business credit card strategy because I can show people my tax return, but they're gonna be like, "Okay, it's negative. What you know, you can't borrow anything." So, so I put this out there just to show you that. You see these lines, negative. So I have no income, and I have no income for the past 5 years. And it's a good strategy, tax write-off and whatever. And that's another topic that you know we could discuss later. But all of these are my credit card. All the yellow ones are 0%. This is personal, this is business. All these cards was obtained by the no dog strategy. And also like to point out a few things. You could even get deeper. So this is the same card. How did I get the same card? I have 5 LLCs, and that 3, each one belongs to an LLC. Same thing here. You know, some my Chase card, they overlap. Okay, so hopefully this helps. Yeah, this is kind of tougher subject because everybody's different, you know. So it has to be maybe a one-to-one thing, you know, like, hey, my credit is this. I have this right now, and where do I go from here? You know, so yeah. Um, questions.
I don't really have a question. I like to point out that NOI is operating income.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think there's other cards. There's charge cards he didn't mention, like the Amex Business Gold Card, which is 6 months free
Right, right.
of 0% APR. So there's even more than he just showed. So it's
Yeah, there's tons more. You know, Chat GPT would tell you that
and
there's
it's not including also, a good tip that I would say is every about 3 months to 6 months, you can ask for a credit limit increase on your already existing accounts. So now you have even more credit. Like,
right, right. The one I focus on, and if people want to really get a good card going, is Chase. You know, and if you do what I'm telling you to do and you execute it, I mean, the last approval that I used for this business was 50K out of the gate. You know, so it's like, what can you do with? You can do a lot of purchase with 50K. You know, so.
yeah, it's a credit limit, so it's like you could keep spending it.
Yeah, yeah. So
Also, Chase has good rewards, so that's also
yeah,
another.
well, I didn't want to throw that in, yeah, but that's a
It's
whole another
yeah,
cool.
that's another.
That's another beast by itself. You know, fun, but yeah. So
I
and,
think there was a question earlier in the comments.
oh, I do. I don't have a come turn on.
So it says, what's the set of accounting tools people use to track cash flow? I've struggled with trying to connect QuickBooks to Seller Central. So, Con, what would you recommend?
I don't have one yet, guys. So I put my taxes, this year taxes, that's next year's problem. So Ian, could you answer that? What would be a good tools?
So you have a couple of options. If you're looking for something that your accountant can go with, and you're probably going to want something like Inventory Lab, which has a lot more data in it, and I turn over some of the P&L reports, P&L and other reports to my CPA, and that works. If you're just trying to keep things more together so you know what's going on, Seller Board is a cheaper option that will give you just a ton of data. It's not 100% accurate, so it's no CPA likes it, but it gives you a really good idea of what kind of numbers you're hitting, what your return rates are, and stuff like that. And then otherwise is just running a clean buy sheet. You can keep a little extra data on that as well.
I think for myself, yeah, I also, you mentioned QuickBooks. I do use QuickBooks.
Okay.
It's a more advanced tool. So if you don't really like, if you never took like an accounting class or something like that, then I think it's really hard to use. And then connecting it to Seller Board, I use the reason why I use QuickBooks is because I have I think the U.S. bank credit card. It gives you like $100 in QuickBooks credit, and then I think business also gives this blue gives you like an offer, which gives you like free money for using QuickBooks. But I use QuickBooks link. Was it Link My Books? It's like a plugin that links your books from Amazon to QuickBooks. Like it
Okay.
converts it if you understand accounting. So if you don't understand accounting, I'd probably be like, you need to hire a bookkeeper at that point, because if you don't, because it's not right, like it's at that
Yeah.
point, if you can't even do work with like something that's supposed to simplify it, right, like QuickBooks or Seller Board or Inventory Lab, then you just need to hire someone, because the learning curve is really high, I would say, in my opinion.
Okay.
It
Cool.
would, right, because if you were like
Here's
spend
the
a month or couple months trying to learn accounting versus hire somebody, I think you take the route hire somebody, right? I don't know. That's my
Completely
opinion.
agreed. Yeah, I just ran simple numbers and just use Inventory Lab mainly for my sending in inventory. I had the virtue of the P&L in there. But this year I hired a bookkeeper, and it's way easier for me not to have to worry about it, send them everything, and just get the job done. So it sort of depends on your budget, your scale, where you're at. But that is definitely one of the first things that is good to pass off.
How much is roughly, how much is charging you for bookkeeping like that, Ian?
Well, my bookkeeper is right now charging me $340 a month because I have 22 credit cards and 4 checking accounts. So I get the we have to deal with you rate. Um, but
Gotcha.
that's okay. Next year I'm flipping everything into 50K cards. It'll be a much smaller, less cards and all that. But I've had to really bootstrap it.
Got
But
it.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I spend, yeah, I was gonna say like $300 is I think what I spend, but I'm not entirely positive. But yeah, like, but then I'm in like eBay, I'm in Walmart, I'm in
Uh,
I'm in Amazon, so, and I have really complicated taxes, so it's like I also get you only
yeah.
get this rate because we like you. Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha.
They started me with the cheaper rate, and I was like, okay, look, I'm transitioning out of all of that, and then I doubled down, doubled my credit, doubled my spend, and I'm like, okay, guys, just tell me what you need, so everybody's happy, and we'll just
Yeah.
rock out the year and see how it goes, and it's going well. Um, but yeah, I think if you just want to go the simplest to keep an eye on things, Sellerboard's probably the simplest. It's the cheapest. It'll give you a lot of data of when to replan, when things are selling. So that additional knowledge is just going to help you work your business until you're at a scale where you feel comfortable paying somebody else to manage some of it.
Gotcha. Jeremiah, you had a question that you have several business account. Should you use those to apply for the credit card first because they're well established? Um, so let me ask you one thing. Are they doing well financially? Have they been around long?
Yeah, they've been around probably 15, 20 years, and so they do fine.
So that you have good income, you show income,
Mhm.
all that stuff. Yes, you can, but you can use that to get the credit card. Um, but really, the other way around too is that if that the bank will give you a certain amount of credit line based on your income, right? Since your income is already proven by tax return, let's say the income was 50K, so they're limited by the 50K of income. But if you were brand new LC and you say
Oh,
my revenue is going to be 500K, that's a whole different ballgame.
okay.
That would be the only part.
Yeah, that
Unless your old business is doing really good and you qualify for a higher credit card.
right.
I mean, I would work my
Okay.
way up because it's just right. Like it's like once you get approved for like $100,000, it's like game time, right? So like I don't know if it were me, I would want to go slower. Not that's
Okay.
like that's a lot of work. I don't know. I don't know, Ian.
So
Is it
I,
easy
I
to
couldn't
spend
spend that much
$100,000 in
anyways,
like a
so
week
well, here's the thing. At each stage of your
without it being
business,
super risky, right? Like
right.
yeah, at each
throwing
stage you have a different bottleneck, right? In the beginning, it might be capital and leads, but it's almost certainly leads. Most people aren't walking in the gate like Can and crushing a lead and having some capital. So maybe you have a ton of money, but you don't know enough of what to spend it on. Okay, now you get good enough that you know what to spend it on and you don't have enough money. Now you definitely want to level up. Now your business gets a little more chaotic. I doubled my spend and all of a sudden like things that I totally had under control were falling out of my hands. So it's like, okay, now it's a personnel issue. For me to do the next thing, I need to hire somebody and get somebody else taking care of this. Okay, now
yeah.
I can scale up again. So the flywheel gets going. But yeah, you don't want to get 100K when your capacity is maybe 10K because you're going to try and spend even more. You're going to make bad buys. You're going to have to make up for that. But if you're taking steps to align yourself to get some accounts, start seeding accounts, get these credit relationships really good, as you scale up, you're going to find that access really helpful.
Right.
How did you guys figure out your like refunding process? So like right, like let's say you're doing like 4,000, 5,000 items, and then like you get 500 items or something. Like let's say it's like 10,000 items, you get like 500 item returns. Like I
I
mean,
mean, from the Amazon side, I haven't been doing enough. I'm hiring somebody. They start Monday for all of the safety claims.
Yeah.
yeah,
But for the physical goods, I mean, I get a dead pile. I clean it all up. I send it right back into Amazon or sell it on eBay, and I just keep moving. I've had other businesses where I was really the get each part right guy. And I watched other friends be like, I don't back end. What's that? Anyway, they're printing money. So I
yeah.
decided for me, I had to go really scrappy for a long time, but then I hit the point where I could double, and I just went, you know what? I'll solve the problems later when I have the money to do it. And I just started moving it, and it's been working. But I am losing probably a couple grand a month. The person who's going to take that over is going to more than pay her salary just
Got
by recovering funds. But because I'm pushing, I have so much more coming in, it works. But I've also known really big sellers. Soros was a $10 million seller. I think he's doing 6 right now, but way more profit. At 10, he had so many returns he wasn't factoring. He ended up losing money selling 10 million. Now it's flipped and he's absolutely killing it. But like that unexpected
Yeah,
avalanche of
he had to
things.
hold the ship,
Yeah,
we might
yeah.
say.
It got way too much to manage at a point. So you do need to keep checking in and seeing like, I know what I'm missing right now, and I don't like the feeling, but I know what I'm missing, as opposed to why does this happen? I can't figure it out. So when you know what you're missing, now you can start to create that plan to fix that hole, whatever that is. Learning that skill yourself, being able to sub it out to somebody else, or whatever that means. And ChatGPT is unbelievably powerful for Amazon. Whatever you want to do, say you're like, how do I file a safety claim? Ask it. You're an Amazon expert. How do I file a safety claim? What do you need for me to be able to file it? Supply the information, write me out the safety claim, submit it to Amazon. So there's such a powerful tool. Like my whole thing with hiring was like, I want to hire and have them use it. So we can just double that even more. But like all of these sorts of technical side back end of Amazon, it's almost all in GPT. Even people are getting done fixing listings that are notoriously difficult to fix, changing colors on things, merging sizes that were separated at various points. So it's an incredibly powerful tool that may take off some of the stress too on some of these other functions where you're going, wait, how does this even work?
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how GPT can do all that, you know? It still
I
amazes
mean,
me today.
it's made me more efficient. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Like I will spit like my to-do list and then like these are my goals and then they will organize my like to-do list for me and give me notes and help me out and give me tips. I'm like I'm scared as a person who's a financial manager. I'm like this thing could go for my job right now.
Right. You're right.
I'm so lazy. I said I need to hire somebody else to use it for me.
It probably is a high ROI. like like prompting, like a prompt engineer, like hiring someone to get good prompt engineers for you.
Oh
That's
man, that's it's so wild these days. Like it's moving fast, and so it's actually moving so fast it can be overwhelming. And the important thing is to just take it piece by piece, because and try and make it work for you. You can now grow a much leaner team and do incredible numbers over time. And this is one outlet. We have Walmart, which is another awesome outlet that's growing. Private label is an option. I want to launch something that will go on Amazon, but the primary target is TikTok. So like there's a lot of options out there. These skill sets, even though they vary a little bit, the overlap is incredible.
I was about to say Walmart's probably like the best time to go in because you could ungate everything right now. And I feel like those accounts will become quite valuable as I think it's going to go under the same thing. And then like, I think down the road, Target will do the same thing. So then like Target will be the new Walmart, right? And
I'm
then it's
with
just
it.
all,
Whatever platform can get off the ground enough, let's go. Let's make it happen. And the network, the people we talk to, all of a sudden it's like, dude, I'm over here killing it.
Yeah.
Like, you guys got to get on this. What are you selling? This kind of stuff. Let's go. And like, it's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do there's a third party market at Best Buy and at Shein. I was like, I didn't know that until I went to the show last year, and I was like, really? Okay, cool. So
oh
you should,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy how like there's like Amazon sellers from like that are living in Vietnam that are selling in the US and selling in Europe and or like, they're just all over the world. And yeah, this is a interesting hobby. For me, it's a hobby for me. Maybe it's full-time job for other people, but yeah, this
It's
is an interesting side gig for me.
it's full time for me, but it's a stepping stone. I have large ambitions that this is going to help feed.
ah,
I
share.
mean,
And what is it? Hint.
Oh, I mean, the next move for me is business buying. I want to get into like ownership, multiple businesses, and then there's still an overlapping capacity, and even launching products. Each product is its own business. They can be sold off. A
Got it.
friend of mine, he got into Amazon early. He's done like 300 million in sales. He just sold one of his brands off for in excess of 10 million. Like, so I
Uh,
see how it can be at the upper end, but it's the straight line with e-commerce isn't as exciting as branching out into a few other areas that all overlap with each other.
right.
I think it's just a diversification thing. It's just like, you don't want all your eggs in one basket, right? It's like, and then also, I don't know though, having owning physical business kind of also ties you into the physical location. So
Well,
it
not
also
every
kind of,
business you buy needs to be physical,
I
though
mean,
physical businesses are a viable option.
I'm just saying, or unless you make the physical business like if you're buying like vacation homes or vacation hotels or vacation or like vacation destination commercial property, then it becomes like
The
yeah, because I'm sure you
There's
started watching.
a friend of a friend of a friend is a huge Amazon seller, and that's what he did. Is he got a few years ago into Airbnb, buying in nice vacation locations. Yeah, the dude sells like 26 million a year, so he expanded out pretty well.
I mean, I think at that point it's just you're doing business for the fun of it. It's no longer I'm doing this for the money. I actually enjoy doing these things, so that's
He
kind of the fun part.
he does
Is
enjoy it. He does. He rocks
yeah,
it.
it's just finding your work that is fulfilling, right? as
he still
opposed to.
does some of his own sourcing too, like on top. And I'm like, really?
Oh.
He's like, dude, I could sit down and crush. I'm like, hey, man, do what you
Yeah,
like.
that's cool. Yeah.
I've got a kind of a basic LLC question.
Okay.
I've got an LLC that I've had for years for my real estate stuff, and that's the one I'm actually using for Amazon. And I just saw on one of your charts it said, don't use the word investment in your LLC. Well, mine's something investment group, so I don't know if I need to. Also, should I just go ahead and do a separate LLC for my Amazon stuff and just keep that separate, or?
I
Do
think you
you
can
have
change
real
it.
estate in that LLC? Do
I
you
think
own
you can
it?
change your LLC. I mean, I would weigh both options because you do, if you do have a Dunbar score with your LLC, it's 15 years old. So that's worth something, in my opinion, if you're going for credit and stuff like that. So,
I mean,
Yeah, I haven't even checked into that. I just,
the thing is, if you're going for the no doc, they have to base it on your thing says artificial is the name of the company, which is stupid, right? But that's all they have to go by. But so this is speaking from personal experience. I have a lot LLC is something realty, something investment. I have it, and it was a struggle for me at the beginning. That I didn't know all this information I'm giving you, right? I
Yeah.
just said, "Hey, that's my company. I need credit." It was really hard at the beginning, and that's why I believe that's a true statement by leave the risky thing out of your LC name.
I think it's just fraud. Most fraud names are going to be those types of things. So they probably.
well, it works good when you're trying to buy notes from people. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So,
all right. Well, I mean, I don't have a problem changing it, but I don't know if I'd probably just go ahead and just get another one.
I mean, either or. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
they're both probably valuable.
Yeah.
You could get
Except the
another
real
one
estate
and
thing, that's
fly
where I'm
them
coming
both.
from. I just didn't get much out of it. I mean, I got it eventually, but it was a longer road than this new one that I followed those rules, and it was 50,000 right out the bat. Whereas real estate was struggling like 10,000, 20,000, and then I worked my way up to 40, 50.
And John,
So,
one
Con,
thing
when
that
you hired your VA, did you go through a VA hiring company, or did you actually go through the application?
No. So like I hired my VA because I could not do the stuff that Miles was asking me to do because I didn't have time. I was busy trying to fill those damn order
Yeah.
the first 4 months that I couldn't source. So what I did, I went to hire a couple of VA to help me source, which is apparently not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hire in person operation and then sourcing. But yeah, it got here. No, it came from somebody in school. They got the Section 3 and they shut their business down. So
Oh, so you inherited just some good talent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, John, on your LLC with your real estate, well, I guess one question to ask is it still active? Do you still have property against it? Do you still have like that activity? Sometimes if you do, because they are separate businesses, you want to protect yourself as they are separate businesses. Real estate's real estate, Amazon is Amazon. So no matter what happens to the Amazon business, if it goes away in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, your real estate piece, which is already 15 years old, very well established, you might want to keep that separate. So you just protect it in that way.
Yeah, I didn't consider you do have to get business insurance, and there's all these
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
legal
So-
liability.
Do you
So
have
I'm
do you
just
have
right.
real estate in there?
I was
John?
just so excited that I already had an LLC.
well, I
and
think
was
I'm
signing
assuming
up, and
it's
I was
like
"Woo."
he said he sold no, so I'm assuming there's some assets in there.
Well,
Sure.
has
So-
anybody ever switched an LLC in their Amazon account?
You can do it. I believe you will want to contact Amazon and
It's
inform
probably-
them of it.
Yeah,
And,
that's
trying to work with Amazon sometimes is a nightmare just to change a name, right? So, and what does it cost
I
to
think
start
Miles
a new
has that one
LLC?
thing where it's like there's a Twitter post, you get the phone number. I mean, I don't remember it, but I remember
Yeah.
there's a phone
But
number. There's a
and
phone
to
number that you're
think about it
supposed to call.
too, the cost to create a new LLC is a few $100.
Yeah,
That's it.
I've filed so many over the years.
Yeah.
I do myself, but
It's like buying domain names back in the.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, think of it that way. Yeah. So I would just do on a more of a protection side. I'm considering, I have my Amazon business. I'm, a W-2 guy, corporate person. But through the entrepreneurship, I'm considering maybe buying a business. I talked to my tax guy and he's like, that would be great. Let me know. I would probably create a separate LLC because it's just a totally different type of business, right?
Yeah.
Which would be like real estate.
That's true too. If you want to sell your business down the road as well,
Yep.
which is also, I'm at this like do you just go wide and then like have multiple LLCs and have them all split up so that it's like, that
Well,
way it's like,
I think Amazon has a little. They don't like you to have more than one Amazon account, apparently.
Correct.
There you can have more than one under some circumstances, but
Yeah.
they can
I'm
never
not putting
sell
it
the
in
Well,
same.
for
like,
private label, but
your family's name and stuff like that. But that's what I was thinking. But yeah.
well, I know a guy who
It's
wants to
just
start.
if it is a family member's name, they still might tie your account together. If you log in on the same IP, you could lose your
Oh, yeah.
account.
They
You
catch
have to
ball.
be very
Yeah,
cautious
you
with
gotta
it.
like be very diligent.
Hey,
It's,
Michael, you still
it's not
there?
worth it.
I got a question about your what you put in the comment about the return.
I signed up for this return service and it receives your returns and sends them back to FBA or does our stuff to it to go back. Okay.
Have you
Give a
used
link.
it for a while? Have you been using it for a while?
No, I just signed up, so I don't know if they're
Oh,
good or anything.
yeah,
But
I'm probably look at something like that because
That's that's too much money possible loss right there. Like
my return goes in a pile and I don't worry about them for a while. So
yeah, well, I figured,
that's
yeah, I mean,
another
I don't
thing
have
is like I'm afraid of the next level. Like, you know what? Like as you grow your business, all these random things happen,
Yeah.
suck up your time, and you're just like, oh man, do I want to keep growing this? Like, I don't know.
So you just signed up. Well, when you find out after a month or two or whatever, your cycle of returns
no.
are, figure out
Yes,
how that
post it on
works. And
post on school.
yeah,
yeah,
Michael,
I would
be like, this
provide
is
an
my
update for everyone.
yeah. I think my
do,
first,
do a referral.
I think my first returns are heading there this week, so we'll see how it goes.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Heck, Ken, are you still
and
doing?
you're right, man. People charge 10% for this information.
Yeah.
I just talked to a guy the other day, and I just didn't feel right, and
Yeah.
I started looking into this stuff. But man, I wish I'd had your presentation before I made a bunch of mistakes.
Yeah.
There is so much landmines. Like,
No, I stupidly got 2 personal 0% credit cards
Okay.
and transferred some balances over to them.
oh, and
So
paid the 3%.
yeah, I took 3%, and then that hits my personal usage. So I've been doing
Yep.
business cards now, but I'm not getting high balance offers currently.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so
Yeah, once you
that's why I
wreck
said
score, it's hard
have
to.
get the lower offer business card and just move some of that over.
Yeah.
So your utilization goes down, and then once it goes out and get to a good point, then we start at the bigger ones.
I think Tony was mentioning about like credit lines, like it's like 9 or like 6 or not, like 6%, 9% for those business credit lines. When you think about it, it's like it's like a percent a month. Think of it that way. That
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
paying
I
to
mean,
borrow the money. So as long as if you're making the money,
yeah.
right? Because
Even with regular credit cards, 24%, that's 2% a month. You're getting 2% cash back in your card, so it evens out. If you look at it that way.
technically speaking,
Not a
if you can churn
CPA,
that fast.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
believe you can write off a certain amount of interest when related specifically to business expenses.
Oh yeah,
You
if
can.
you're in the state of, I think Maryland, there's like Maryland, I think has the headquarters of Capital One. I think you could write off as much as you want or whatever. On their state tax. I was like, man, I wish I had a credit card. Or I think also Delaware. I don't know. There's a few states where there's certain special interests got some special stuff. Let's put it that way. And again, you wouldn't know this unless you have like an accountant telling you this, right? Your accountant will be like,
Yeah.
"This is why
Let's
I'm valuable." This is why
Yeah.
you pay
Right,
me the big bucks.
I would kind of go, let's backtrack to make sure that I'm pretty sure none of us are CPAs. We're only talking. We are not giving financial advice.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
Con needed to say that when he kind of started the thing. He has no affiliation. This is
Right.
we're just having conversations. This is not official, advice.
Yeah.
Do your own due diligence, and Can is not responsible for you not paying your credit card off or whatever.
We don't, we
So,
definitely don't.
right.
There's definitely no, I don't, this is why I don't like doing any of these type of posts, because there's gonna be somebody that's like, didn't pay
They
attention,
listen to it, right?
just fucking
Yeah.
blast the card and then like miss
I
the
do.
payment and be like, I didn't know what I was doing.
I am able to write off interest for loan because I
Yeah.
through my other stuff that I do, I borrow money from my guy, and at current interest rates, whatever they are, 3%, 6%. There was a while back when I was borrowing money for 1%, and it was awesome. And that interest, I get to write off every year. So that is, and
Yeah.
I'm in the Carolinas. Whether that matters, it doesn't really matter. But because it's strictly the money I'm borrowing is strictly for business.
It's a business
I'm not buying
expense.
groceries with it. I'm not doing it because you're exactly right. It's a business expense. So, you borrow $100,000, you're paying 6%. Well, if my return is 12 or 14, I'm making 6 to 8. So that's only a good business decision when you just factor it in that aspect.
There is
Yeah.
risk associated with that. Let's not, there are risks associated with anything, right?
Of
You
course,
are
yeah,
making a spread, but there are risks,
yeah.
or else, there's work involved, or which is the risk. If you don't do your work, you're not going to make
With
that
Amazon,
spread.
there's risk outside of the work you do.
Yeah.
We don't own the platform, so that there's a level of risk that is entirely outside of our
Yeah, if you
control.
get randomly Section 3 and then all your money is frozen, like that is not fun. That's what also why I think a lot of us, I think Tony and Ian probably could go higher if they wanted to, but it's like, do I want to jam that much money in? And I have never, like, I heard Tony say he's never been Section 3. So if he goes from, I'm sure there's some type of Amazon algorithm that's like, if you suddenly do 10x the amount of money that you normally do, we need to look at your stuff or something like that.
I had my the account shut down twice now.
Yeah, is it because like you went from like your last month was like significantly less? I got Section 3 when I went from like, I think it was like not that much to like, I think it was like 5K or 6K or 9K or 8K, and then I went to like 19, and then I got Section 3. I was like, okay, I probably made too much money. If I keep making too much, these guys.
It's just the customer being stupid. One of them said I bought a counterfeit ball, Kong ball.
Well,
It's
here's
like,
the thing.
really?
Section
Oh, that's
3s,
true too. You can just get randomly.
You can get Section 3'd because somebody got Section 3'd at the prep center you're using.
Yeah.
You can get Section 3'd. I talked to an Amazon lawyer. The amount of things you can get Section 3'd for that they've experienced that is so random. It's really, it might be something you do, but really it's probably you just sold on an ASIN that got a bunch of complaints from another seller that may have been doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And they'll just hit you. So it's everybody that was selling a particular ASIN at one point got hit because there was possibility of it getting stolen. So everybody that sold that ASIN got hit.
Nike got recently, like, there was like looting because of the ICE riots in LA, like the Nike, the Hype Jumpman building got looted. So I'm assuming like the police are probably going to ask Amazon and all of them to be like, can you check these ASINs?
Maybe a lot of those are different third-party sellers, street, StockX, those type of things.
Oh, true. I mean,
StockX will just pull it.
Yeah, probably not. Maybe not Amazon, but for sure, maybe those other ones.
I doubt an Amazon seller is going in and looting Nike store to sell socks.
I mean, he might be buying his inventory from a questionable person who says he's a distributor. I mean, and he might not know better.
But you got to walk out with. They're not walking out with 50 cases of shoes that are 6 pairs per case.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not carrying that.
Yeah.
But what they'll do is like StockX and Alias and those, they can just remove that particular shoe from their platform for a certain period of time.
Oh.
And
So
that
that's
way
how they-
nobody can sell it. Or eBay might be able to do the same. eBay might be a little tougher, but StockX, they can just remove that particular shoe from the platform and they can sell it.
Yeah. So like in China, they have something called the Gaokao. It's like a big ass test. And I guess like in China, like all the AI companies had to shut down their servers so none of the students could cheat with it for that test. So this reminds me of that. I was just like, oh man, that's technology. People are just gonna shut down stuff.
Ken, are you doing FBA or are you still doing FBM or both?
Both 50-50
Still
right
do
now.
both.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
supposed
good.
to be going the other way. I'm supposed to transition to FBA. A lot more, like 90% is where I want to be, but or more. But we're selling Fujifilm and can't keep those thing in stock, so we'll have to FBM those.
Might as well just do it from the house. Yeah.
I mean, it's the problem is you have to wait an extra month basically for your money if you FBA versus FBM. FBM is like
Instant.
immediate.
That's
Like
what I
you
do.
buy
I'm pretty
it.
much all FBM.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, in the beginning, it's like just throw it up, and then when you feel like sending it in because it's not selling fast enough, you're like, okay, I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about. I'm just gonna send it FBA because it's not work. FBM's not working.
Hey, Ken.
All right. Well, I've got to jump. Is there anybody have any other questions or anything? I know Ken, this is your deal. So
Nah, I'm good. I'm
great
good.
call.
I do have a
Very
question
good.
for Ken.
Yeah.
First, I just want to thank you for putting this whole thing together, and then actually taking the time to like do the presentation and everything. Really appreciate that. A question that I have is, you said that when you're creating your LLC, that you shouldn't have your personal address linked to your LLC. What can you do? What can you do about that if you don't have a different address?
Business address would be better. The next one, the easiest, cheapest one would be like a post office box. That's good for your protection that nobody's gonna show up in your front of your house. I mean, that's a long shot, right? But that's the idea why you get PO box. But to go further for business credit, you want a business address, not a virtual address. So like go to like Regis. They have you actually, it's a business, a true business, So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's nothing wrong with using your personal. You can, but
I think I do.
every step, every step is better for you some way, somehow, right?
So like there are like what he mentioned was I think Regis. It's like you don't technically have an office. You can pay extra to have an office there, or
Right.
create or rent a business meeting location
Right.
there. It's like a business area. Other businesses use it as a physical location. So
Yeah.
like other people who are consultants who are
Yeah.
real estate agents, they might use that as their business address as opposed to their own home because they don't want to
Just
get
get an authorized agent.
I have a registered agent.
Yeah,
That's what I have.
Yeah.
And
That's what you need to do. I mean, my
I pay
LLC is private
$125
CPA.
a year
Yeah.
for a registered agent. But however, naturally, I do have my personal, address tied to different things. But
From the
I have a
cost
registered agent.
Yeah. From the cost perspective, Manny, a PO box is like 200 a year, and Regis was like 130 a month. So,
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Yeah,
it just
and
it costs a lot of
and-
money doing all these things.
And then just lastly, if you don't have your LLC, certainly recommend getting one. It's very simple to sign up.
Oh.
Just look up, how do I create an LLC for the state you live in?
You can
Do
just
you guys
takes-
recommend
You
going
don't
with a
even have to
lawyer, or
make
do
it
you
in the
guys
state.
recommend going with like an online thing? That's I think maybe newer people?
I did everything online.
Online.
I've set up LLCs. I don't set them up in my home state. I mean, I was originally from California. I wouldn't dare. You don't have to do it in your home state. You can get get an agent where it's parked. You're on all of my stuff. I have my business LLC, but then I just give my home address for me for receiving all the mail and all of that stuff. It's super easy once you get it going.
Cool.
All right, good stuff.
Let's say if you create the LLC with one address, can you change that address later on?
Yeah.
Or does it stick with your LLC?
You can change the address later on, but if at some point you're going for trade lines and you're trying to establish business credit, you really want to anchor it somewhere for some years. But still moving it around isn't an issue.
Yeah,
if you change states though with the address, then you need to register in that state as a foreign agent with your LLC.
Yeah, I remember like one of my friends, they figured out like the cheapest zip code, because if you use your zip code in LA for car insurance, it'll be like really high. So he specifically got in the least in like the state of California. I forgot which zip code, so he was able to like finagle his insurance. So I mean, I'll point that out there as well.
Doing insurance fraud. Awesome. It's called fraud, by the way.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't do
not
that.
financial crimes advice.
If you were to write a crime novel, you could do that.
Yes, perhaps. So,
Yeah.
all right. Thanks, Ken.
All right, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Good to
Ken.
see you, man.
Coming.
We'll catch up soon.
Thank
Yep.
you.
And great call. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right, later, everyone.
Right.